grandson of Miss Edith Harrison.
Yes.
And I've been asked to give the eulogy for today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, when they first told me that, I said, y'all crazy. I wanted to be behind, you know, I wanted to sit there, and I wanted to just kind of be behind the scenes. But then I thought about it and I said, you know what? If I could do anything for my grandmother, Grandma ain't asked for much now. I can make sure that I can do this. So that being said, I've come to talk to us and kind of cherish in on Grandma's life almost 92 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you believe that? Almost 92 years.
Yes, sir.
In 1928. That's a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If y'all like any of us, that's a time that we've only read about in the history books. Well, what was it like? That was the first thing I thought in 1928. Well, the cost of a movie ticket was 25 cents. The cost of a loaf of bread was about 20 cents, if you want to put it in perspective. And a gallon of milk was about 56 cents. Now, I don't know if you all been to the grocery store, but them prices ain't what's going on right now, not today. Well, what else went on back then? Well, if you wanted a new car, we like our cars. Come on, I done seen some people pull in on the lot. We like our cars, right? Well, back then, you could get a shiny Model T Ford. And you could get it in any color as long as it was black. They didn't make no other colors back then. And that cost about $650. The average cost of a house, that's a big expense. Now, a house, we save up a little and we got to put on the down payment. We got to go to the loan officer for a loan. Back then, in good old 1928, if we were to go in there, we would pay about $2,500. That's a time of reflection. What a time to live. Back then in 1928, Walt Disney character Mickey Mouse premiered in his first cartoon, Plain Crazy. Man, those are things that you only can read about in a book. And Grandma had the distinct pleasure of growing up in two centuries. She grew up in the 20th century, where in 1929, not the one in '08 or not the one in recently, where the stock market crashed. In 1941 was the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 7th. On April 4th in 1968, now come on now, this should ring a bell for a few people in the room. We had the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. In July 20th, 1969, first man landed on the moon. Now that's just to name a few. But putting it all in perspective, Grandma had the distinct privilege of seeing other memorable events as we transition to the 21st century. Come on now, I'm pulling up in your lot. In 2001, we all remember September 11th. I'm just naming off a few dates. In 2004 came the birth of Facebook. Come on now, I'm getting in your lane. Yeah, somebody know what I'm talking about. In 2005, we'll never forget the catastrophic tropical cyclone that hit called Hurricane Katrina. In 2007, smartphones. We all got one. I see a couple of them looking at me now. Smartphones started taking over the world. Did you all know that in your hands, you've got more technology than the first person that I said Grandma was alive for that landed on the moon? Right there in the palm of your hand. Oh, what a time to live and a time to be alive. And Grandma lived through it all. She sacrificed through it all. She's seen, if you ask me, she's seen it all. In 2009, I'm pretty sure it was a proud moment for several people inside the room. Barack Obama was nominated, or not nominated, he was elected and became the first African-American president of the United States. And then we fast forward to today in 2020, where we have a worldwide pandemic. and a reality star's president. I'm not going to start on it. I'm not even going to go down and out. That's for a whole nother conversation. But man, if you think through the times and the reflection of times for grandma to live through 2 centuries, and this group of people is what we have here behind. Well, that goes to the scripture that was read earlier. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 talks about a time for everything. There's a time for everything. A season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. Now, if we just pause right there, we could talk about half of 2020. Come on, somebody help me now. Moving on, a time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn. Lord knows we had a time to dance. Y'all remember the music. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them and embrace the time, and a time for embrace and a time for not embracing. Just this year alone, social distancing is so ironic how the Bible is just reflecting itself, and it's showing in these words written many years ago. A time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent. And Lord knows sometimes we forget this one. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Grandma, right here, she's done seen it all. Like other books, now this one's interesting. If you look at the book of Ecclesiastes, it was written by Solomon. And like other books of wisdom inside the Bible, Ecclesiastes is concerned with imparting wisdom and teachings for those who read it. One may think that the scripture that I just read was a formula for a well-balanced life. But if we dig deeper, we can see that the author Solomon, he's not telling us the formula for a well-balanced life. He's telling us what life is. If you think of those chain of events that I had explained just a moment ago, and you tie it in, each and every one of those can tie back to those scriptures. Grandma was a praying woman. We said that earlier, right? So he's telling us what life is, not what it should be. The verses simply describe life. I look at that and I pause for a second because it makes me realize that Grandma has so much wisdom. Someone had mentioned on Sundays we'll go by the church. Well, at a young age, I remember going to church on Sunday morning, and I couldn't wait to Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, at this time, J.E. Turner, my grandfather, he was over at St. James, 1644 Simple in Coke Brilliant. And we would leave from there, travel just a few miles down the way, and we'll get to the road. What's that address? Yes, you know it. Right there on Barber. So if you ease on down the street, somebody come on and travel with me. If you ease on down that street just a little bit further before you get to the end, I can, oh God Almighty, I can picture it right now. I can see the house. Uncle Walter was just sitting there talking about the well-manicured lawn. You would pull up to the house and you could see the scape of the home, and you see that well-manicured lawn with the most beautiful hospice that I've ever seen. My God, you get out of the car and you take a step out, and then you look and you can see the stairs up to that home. That green carpet. Come on, somebody, walk with me now. You walk up that green carpet, and remember I told you it's Sunday morning. So now once you walk up that green carpet and you make your journey to the top, and once you get to the top, it's Sunday morning, it's a sunny day. You know what you're going to see at the top of the stairs on Sunday. You're going to see a World War II veteran who fought for a country that didn't love him. You're going to see a father that raised many children and grandchildren. You're going to see a loving man. Yeah, we all remember that bird now. Come on. That's what you're going to see. And if you're wondering, for those of you who didn't know my grandfather, we talked about the church that was across the street, God bless his soul. Well, he was outside and he was enjoying the fresh air. He might have been smoking a cigar or might have been smoking a pipe. But he was watching that driveway, to be honest. Now, come on now. Y'all know West End, Mount Carmel was packed. It was packed. It was packed. And just because it was packed, you know what had happened. Come on now. Don't you dare pull up and park in front of his driveway. Watch out now. Oh, come on. I remember the day I'll never forget it. Somebody decided to park in the driveway. Woo-wee. Boy, I tell you what, Grandpa had a way of scaring the devil out of you. If you go inside that house and you go into the basement, you go into that bathroom that he built with his hands, and you'll see inside of that bathroom the devil sitting on that toilet, smoking that cigarette. Oh, precious memories. Oh, my God, my God. It scared the devil out of you. She's, well, while we there in the basement, I remember you talking about Uncle Jimmy saying he gonna whoop you. I'll never forget we were downstairs, and all the grandkids, come on now, don't leave me hanging. We were out there and we'd be playing, we'd be screaming, we'd be running, we'd be laughing, we'd be playing. And they always say, don't swing from that pole. Come on. I'll never forget the time Uncle Jimmy came down those stairs and said, don't get this cat out. I'll never forget. I ain't gonna snitch on you. I know what snitches get, but I remember somebody saying, you ain't whooping. No, y'all remember, we'll keep that secret amongst the grandchildren. But man, you know, back to the story, that journey, if you come inside of that home, I learned today that when you go there, you walk in and you look to the right and you see the family photos. Yeah. You look to the left, you see the couch with that quilt that Grandma would always knit. And you see all the precious memories, but we're not going to stop there. Let's go up the stairs. If you walk up the stairs, each stair had a nice little, they squeak. And I know now it's from years of being cleaned by hand in those baseboards. But if you ease on up those stairs and carry on around the corner and you go up just a little bit, you don't have to go far. And you look towards the left and you see Grandma. She's there waiting. Waiting to embrace you, waiting to share a smile, waiting to share a hug, waiting to share a kiss. Man, you run on over, she give you a hug, and she give you that kiss on the cheek and say, I love you. I love you too, Grandma. Well, one thing I didn't realize, that as that took place, Grandma, she continued to bestow wisdom upon us, even at an early age. Now, y'all can help me out with this. If you go back and you think about some of the old sayings that you'll hear the grandma and grandpa say, come on now. Now, y'all help me if I get a little lost on words. The early bird gets the worm. Gets the worm. That's right, that's right. A stitch in time saves 9. Make hay while the sun shines. When the cat's away, the mouse will play. It's no use in crying over. You sure right about that. You can't teach a dog, old dog. Yeah, y'all remember Princess? Yeah. Don't count your chickens before. That's right. A watched pot, come on now, never boils. Somebody tell the women, these millennial women, that they throwing doggone me TV dinners in there. What happened to them good old meals? They never learned that lesson. They wouldn't listen to Grandma. They said a watched pot never boils. Strike while the iron is hot. That's right. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Man, all of these sayings, and everyone inside the room, if you didn't know one, you knew another, and we heard all of those. We learned those sayings at an early age. We learned those sayings through the tedious and the regular day-to-day things that we did in life. My God, Grandma has so much wisdom. If you were to talk to Grandma and spend some time, you'll know that timing is everything. If you think about all of those sayings, timing is everything. I'd like to take another moment here. If you could take another journey with me now, let's walk through that house. And if we go down, now this, I kid you not, this is the only house I ever knew that had 2 sets of stairs that went to the upper level. Where they even do that at? This is the only house I knew. Well, we're going to take the back stairs from where Grandpa's room was. That old school bathroom with the fancy tub that now people pay high dollars for. We're going to go down those stairs, and if you pass through the kitchen, somebody talked about it earlier, go to that green cookie jar with that sherbet ice cream lid on top of it. And those pot holders that were burned and just a little bit dirty, but a little dirt ain't gonna hurt you. And so, like somebody said, the best cookies that you could ever find. Man, don't let Grandpa just bought the cookies. They ain't good no more. They been sitting there for a few days. Did you put the lid on too tight? These cookies are crunchy. I want them soft. But let's take a journey if you go on towards the back. Now, y'all walk with me. And if you walk towards the back, you'll enter that carport area. Now, this is the first house that I had been to in my time that had 2 refrigerators. That's the area where, if you know, Grandpa kept all the sodas. And this time of year, they were nice and cold. You didn't even have to put them inside the refrigerator. But we walk on down, and you'll pass through a workshop that was built by Grandpa. Now, this is the only workshop, or this is the only building that I ever saw that had the biggest tree that you ever did see. How the heck did you build a tree around? You build this around a tree. But if you pass on through there now, if you follow with me, you're starting to smell something. Yeah, I know that barbecue. You smelling that barbecue and that smoker that Grandpa built, and you're smelling that barbecue, and whoa, wait a minute now. Listen, if you hear it, if you listen, come on now, follow with me. If you listen, you would hear boom, 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 boom. Gonna have a funky good time. Come on. Man, I tell you, somebody say the memories. The memories. But if you go through, I can hear it now and I can see it. And if we travel through, Grandpa was a man that made sure we had it all. That was the best playground that I've ever played in my whole entire life. If you're looking for a bike, it was there. If you're looking for a dodgeball, it was there. If you're looking for a basketball, it was there. He had it there. He had ropes. He had wheels. He had it all. And it was all available. And if I go through, I can hear it now. If you travel through, you hear this. What's that? I can hear it now. Everybody, come on in. First one, Mrs. Got to take mine. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Lord. Double Dutch. Man, the girls of the family, they over there in their corner, and they playing double dutch. And I can hear it now. And the more I think about these memories, I'm like, man, here we go. There it goes. Another lesson. There's a lesson that we can see in jumping rope. If we think about jump rope, if you could think, now I told you Grandpa had everything under the sun. If you wanted to, if your rhythm wasn't as good, or if you're one of the guys, we step to the side and we'll have that single rope. And the thing about that single rope is you can start and stop whenever you like. Just you and your own timing. Just one. That's all you got to worry about is keeping your own timing. But when it comes to double dutch, you got 2 other persons that are keeping the timing, and you must get in sync with them. Come on, somebody follow me, and work together as a team. Yeah. Somebody look at the person next to you and tell them it's all about timing.
It's all about timing.
You must coordinate and work as a team. And if you're doing it right, now come on, I know I got some double dutches in here. You probably ain't done it in years. But if you're doing it right, you're going to jump in on the beat. But when it's time to jump off, you got to jump out off timing. All right? Which that can be hard at times. We got to jump in on the beat. Back then, if we go to that area, that huge driveway, you had everybody working together as a team. That entire experience. Someone brought a covered dish. Someone brought this, someone brought that. And it's safe to say that jumping rope is almost what we're doing still today. But the only change is that double dutch is not there. As time went on, we all individually got our own single ropes and we got out of sync. We all got our single ropes and we got out of timing. And we started jumping alone. As a family, we've been jumping rope, in my opinion, for way too long. It's almost time, or it is time, that we start jumping double dutch. Because what fun is that? What happened to the good times that we explained today? Whatever happened to if one fight, come on now, I done heard the story. We all fight. But slowly with time, that has changed, and we turned to a way where we started fighting each other. Whatever happened to if one fall, we all there to pick them up. I'm sad to say that today, we knocking each other down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Grandma always had a way of bringing us all together. She instilled to us the spirit of love. She instilled to us the spirit of forgiveness.
Yes, sir.
The one time, the final time Grandma has taken her unique way to bring us all together. Shame on us if we don't learn from what we've done in the past.
Yes,
Shame on us if we don't leave here and exchange numbers and from time to time give each other a call. Shame on us if we don't from time to time shoot a text message. We can text everybody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shame on us if we don't take some time to connect on Facebook. That wasn't even around when Grandma was here. But still, there was a way to connect. So I'd like to ask you all one final question. What time is it? Well, in that scripture, if we look at it, the time says, now is a time to plant. We need to plant seeds into our future. We need to invest into the young ones that are coming in future generations. Now is a time to heal. We've caused pain upon each other, and there's pain that we didn't even cause on each other. But right now is a time for us to heal. Right now is a time to build. When the world around us is crumbling at our very face, it's a time to build. We should build each other up.
Yes, sir.
Now is a time to search. We need to search for ways to connect with each other and connect and come one again. Now is a time to speak. We've gone far too long not speaking to each other. We've gone far too long letting the phone not ring. Now is a time for peace. We need to take those old things and put it behind us. Remember, timing is everything. And I'd say if Grandma was to instill one final lesson on us, she would tell us that it's better late than never. Let's see, I didn't even have to finish it. If you will, take that from your heart as one final piece. Better late than never. Let's take a moment and gather ourselves and let's reconvene and let's rebuild as a family. Let's come together. We all want it, but we all just holding on to something in the past. And if you ask, well, what are we holding on to? Half the time we don't even know. We just be holding on and we just holding on. Well, we're going to hold on to anything, as the song said earlier, hold to God's unchanging hand. That's what Grandma held to. As we conclude today's service, and as the officials come to prepare for a final viewing, I ask that we continue to hold. Let this not be our last time coming together. Uncle Walter said it best. This ain't the only time we got to come together. Social distancing was in our family before 2020. And we did that. The pandemic didn't do that. You can't use that as an excuse. We did that. But now it's time to come together. And if you will, officials, let's prepare to say our final goodbye.